All I did was knock the sprues off of these, and then I went ahead and drilled them while they were all attached. Now there's some holes that are off center, like that one right there, and it's because I've still got runners on the back side, so it wanted to tilt them a little bit. I avoided as much as I could, so I've still got a couple of them that aren't really lined up quite the way they should be, but for this it doesn't matter. So from there I'm going to cut them off, and then I'm going to make just a real quick little wooden fixture out of a piece of 2x4 probably to sand the back sides of these smooth. We'll see, now I've cut all my castings off. All I did was, if I can find them here, all I did was just take them with the, and cut them off from the risers. Now to smooth out the back, my tooling for it is very complicated. It's a thing that most people will have trouble. Now see, that's plenty flat at the bottom. They're ready for the next operation, although I will go around and smooth the edges just quickly on the belt sander, what I can reach while they're still in that configuration. But the tooling for it is really, really tough. It's a piece of 2x4 and 2 nails cut off to the length, drilled a hole in it. You take a one of your pieces, set it on the pins, go to the belt sander, and it takes about 30 seconds to trim that down and polish it off so it's flat. So really high tech. I know you guys will have trouble duplicating that at home if you want to do something like this. Don't burn your fingers. It doesn't get your fingers up there where you're going to get them sanded off in the belt sander, and it works really well. So here's the setup for boring the center hole. We've already got our 4 holes done, back smoothed up. Just set up a little aluminum block that I use for a fixture block for several different things. I've drilled 2 holes and tapped them to accept diagonal holes on the piece here. We just start the screws in place. And we'll verify that we're pretty close to being on center here. They're pretty close to center. We just snug them down. Now we'll just double check on top of it here. Okay, and that's close enough for where we're at here. Now I'm using an end mill to kind of bore them. It's not a center cutting end mill, so I'm drilling them through with a pilot drill. If I was just drilling these, I wouldn't even go through this much trouble. I could just go to the drill press, hold it in place, whether it's in a vise or clamp it to the table, whatever the case may be. I've already dimpled my pattern, so all I'd have to do would be to center drill, or to drill down through the center and step up to whatever size we were drilling them to, go ahead and drill them out. Since I'm boring them with this end mill, why, it gives a little bit nicer finish, so I'm pilot drilling just to get rid of most of that material. And just that simple. Now what I'll do is I'll just take them to my little bandsaw that I've got back in the airplane factory, and I'll just slice down through there. Then I'll lightly touch up the faces of those 2 on the belt sander, And if I need to, I can deburr the edges a little bit. Probably just about right there. So anyway, that's all there is to them. I'm going to go ahead, take them to the bandsaw, which I've already done with this pair, and we're going to split them, and then I just touch them up on the belt sander. And I am going to leave these as a set. You know, I'm going to wire them together and use them as a set. I don't know that it really matters. I know it doesn't really matter, but that's the way we're going to do it. There's 12 sets of flask hardware. I just took them to my little, I've got a little small bandsaw in the airplane factory back there, and just split them right down the parting line there. Took a little bow lube to lube the bandsaw blade, and they cut right through. So this flask hardware is all ready to go. So for every match plate I've got to set up now for the next dozen match plates, well, I've got hardware ready to go, and they're ready to go. I don't have to hunt for them. I don't have to cast one because I've run out or anything else. Little modification. The match plate vibrators. You noticed yesterday when I was casting those two molds, well, I had problems with both of my match plate vibrators that I used, and I think they were filling with sand through the little exhaust port holes in the top. You know, I don't worry too much. I cram sand into the top of the flask, and it overflows and gets those. So I thought I'd better address that, and came up with a quick and easy idea that I think works pretty good. And this is what they are. Just a little aluminum cover. Went back to the airplane factory and jerked some scrap aluminum out, and I cut, I think, 6 of these, and just started them with a hole saw, then went ahead and polished the edges and mounted them on there. And what I did is I just took one of my little nylon bench blocks that had a slot in it, and I just laid my flat down in there, and took one of my brass punches, laid down into the slot, and whacked it with a hammer. I did that 3 fairly equidistant places around them. I didn't bother to measure or anything, but and I did 3 because there's 4 exhaust holes, so I figure with 3 of them, there's no way we're gonna line up with those holes and cover them with anything that's gonna, you know, create a problem. So I had to switch to a longer bolt to go through and bolt them, you know, one size up, and put a couple washers down underneath, just flat washers, laid it on top and tightened it down. And that's what they look like. I noticed no difference whatsoever in the way they vibrate. You know, it does a fine job. This is actually the one that I cast yesterday. I just finished machining it a little bit. I don't know how well you can see that vibration on there, but it's got the same action they had before. Seems to work just fine. So we're going to try this. I cut out, I think, 5 or 6 of them. I'm going to put them on the flasks that I've got, and I've got them on the 2 vibrators that I've got cast and machined out that I don't have mounted yet. But we'll put them on, see if that cures that problem. That's what they look like.